Hey guys, it's XH, and today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Koumei, the newest warframe added to the game Warframe. If you're just here for a quick build, that's coming right up. But if you want to learn how to master Koumei and conquer the steel path, make sure you watch the entire video. I'm going to tell you everything you need. To get this video out as soon as possible for you guys, I spent plat to get it straight from the market. So if you found this video helpful, please do subscribe and like, it helps out a lot. Alright, let's get right into it. So first things first, why did I mod Koumei the way I did? So you'll notice I dumped strength. And the reason is, strength has very little impact on the actual performance of this warframe. So as you'll see, as I scroll through the abilities, the only thing that gets affected by the negative strength is the damage on her wires, the Omamori heal, and damage on her Bunraku. However, this doesn't matter because when you get to endgame Steel Path, these abilities aren't used for damage. Instead, they're more of a utility. So you can basically safely dump strength, which is what I've done, and focus on other stats like range and duration. Now, why did I focus on those two? So range is the most important stat because range increases the distance that her AoE abilities are active, which means it can reach more enemies and help you kill groups faster. And duration is also important because it means you have to recast the abilities less. And you'll see here I've opted for more efficiency to boost the duration even more. And energize is to help you maintain energy as you're casting spells. And you'll also notice I went for a casting speed build because usually when I try to maximize my build, it's either casting speed to cast more rapidly or strength to do more damage. However, on this warframe, you'll notice that strength doesn't really help, so that's why I focused on casting speed and range, with duration as a secondary stat. And you can see I put all 5 of these shards as amber archon shards for casting speed. So that way we can reach maximum cast speed. And for the focus, you could use either Narimon if you want to focus on using melee, or you can go with the Madurai, and this will add another 50% casting speed. For this video, I'm gonna use Madurai because it's a max casting speed build. However, feel free to use either one, they're both really good. And one last thing. So you'll notice that I use Archon Stretch. And why is that? This is nice to have some extra sustain from your abilities. You'll notice that it gives you energy regen when your abilities deal shock, electricity damage. And well, your threads are gonna deal random elements, and at least one of them is probably gonna deal electricity. So basically, as long as you keep up your strings, you're gonna have a permanent 2 energy regen. It's pretty good. As long as I got them on space, of course. Alright, now let's look more in depth into the abilities. So her first ability, Koumei is just gonna throw up a bunch of random threads around you, and basically enemies that walk through them are gonna get a random status effect. If you get a lucky roll, then it's gonna inflict all status effects at once. Her second ability, Omikuji, gives you a challenge, and if you do this challenge, you're going to unlock a permanent buff to your warframe. And this is really good for longer missions like disruption, survival, defense. Not so much for faster missions like capture. So depending on your playstyle or the mission type you want to do, you could subsume this off as your helmet option if focusing on fast missions only. However, if you're doing endurance missions, definitely do not get rid of this. This is very important. And then Omamori, her third ability, gives you some charms that have a chance to block damage. This is kind of inconsistent because it only works half the time. Unless you get a lucky 666, then it's really good, it makes you invulnerable. Otherwise, it just helps block some damage, but it's not consistent enough to actually rely on for survivability. So that's why I put in catalyzing shields in the build. We're gonna spam the abilities with our cast speed and maintain the shield gate. And then last, her final ability, Bunraku, is basically, it's kind of like Koumei I'm, her first ability. However, this one is more of a stun as well as random stats effects. So you can think of it as a more powerful version of her Koumei I'm. However, the Koumei I'm is like an AoE lasting ability. This is a one-time cast, and then enemies that walk in the radius after don't get affected. Alright, now let's go over on these officers and test it out. I'm gonna activate my casting speed, cast 1, you'll see the wires are inflicting stat effects. Then I'm gonna cast the 2, I got my challenge, so you gotta kill enemies with headshots. Let me kill one now. As you'll see in the top left, you have a tracker to basically track your progress on the challenge. Looks like that's not enough. Let me spawn someone. Alright, last kill. See what we've got. Okay. Deal disadvantage. Your first shot to reload deals 200% damage. Not the best, but hey, it's something. Then we can cast it again. And that's a new challenge. You can just keep doing that. But I won't make you watch me get all of them. Alright, for third ability, it's not really worth talking about. You just cast it and then you have these things that protect you. Okay, now for her fourth ability. You cast the Bunraku, and as you can see, the strings grab the enemies and kind of like stun them so that they can't move. And then easy pickings for your weapons to just shred through them. So yeah, that's all her abilities. And you also notice there's a icon with a ticking duration next to her die indicator. And basically what that is, let's go back to her passive. Every 60 seconds, one of her weapons can inflict random stats effects for 60 seconds. So basically what this means is, in addition to the elements that your mods are, like, in addition to the modded elements on your weapon, this warframe will also grant you the ability to deal extra random stats effects. Let's see. So Malchior has viral heat on it, and I'm gonna hit this. Sorry, the current weapon is the Ceta, so let's use that. So as you can see, I'm dealing gas, electric, and cold procs onto that officer. However, these elements are not on my warframe or my shotgun. So that's from the warframe ability. And that's a really powerful synergy. And let's look at how I've modded my weapons to take advantage of that. So Galvanized Savvy is a mod that adds some status chance. More importantly, for each status affecting your target, you deal more damage, and they can stack for each different element that's on the enemy. So not only can you benefit from the mods on your warframe, or sorry, your shotgun, you can also benefit from the random effects from her passive. And basically, I've set her up with 3 weapons that all have the galvanized equivalent that deal more damage per status type affecting the enemy. So the goal is, when you're playing, if you want to deal the most damage, you're going to basically put a condition overload or the equivalent onto your weapons. And then depending on which weapon is active, you're going to use that weapon and it'll deal bonus stats effects. And that will let your condition overload or galvanize mod deal huge additional damage. And as for the companion, let's look. So I think Nautilus Prime is the best choice, and the reason for that is this. So Nautilus has a powerful ability called Cordon that grabs enemies and groups them together so you can kill them. And then this ability, or this mod, lets you reduce your companion's ability cooldowns whenever you kill enemies with 3 or more unique status effects. Guess what? That ties back into her passive, which lets you inflict random status effects with weapons. So you're basically always going to be inflicting at least 3 status effects between your passive, the Koumei I'm, and the Bunraku. So you're just gonna have like infinite uptime on your companion's ability. And you could also explore other options, but I think Cordon's really powerful ability. It's CC, helps you kill faster, grabs them all together, and it really synergizes with melee influence, which lets you nuke a huge area with your melee. Alright, I think that's pretty much all. Let's get in some gameplay and see how Koumei performs in a real Steel Path environment. Alright, we're heading into a solo Steel Path survival in Circulus, one of the highest level missions.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive.
Let's see how this max casting speed Koumei build works.
There are void fissures in the area. Use this to crack open a relic. A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactor to open relics.
As you can see, we cast abilities very fast. There's minimal downtime when you're locked in the animation, so you can stay mobile and not get hit. If you do get hit, just cast your abilities. You pop your shield back up to full. Very smooth gameplay. You just dart around, spam your abilities, kill with melee influence. Alright, now let's get to a safe space and activate challenge. Kill 17 enemies while sliding. Okay. Let's use the October for this. There's one. And almost there. We got it. Okay. Deadly Momentum. This is a good one. So while you're moving, you deal more damage. Up to 100%. Because that's a tier 2 gold. So works well with our current build. We're casting quickly. We keep moving around. Our damage went up a lot. Okay, second one's really easy. So basically free strength based on our armor. Let's get another one. Another easy challenge. Kill enemies nearby. Okay, let's see what we get. Molten Metal. Finishers deal 20% of the enemy's max health. Okay, that was kind of useless. We're not going to be doing finishers. You can't always win, guys. It's gambling. We got pretty lucky for this video. When I was leveling this warframe up, I got 2 that were like get kills while wall latching, and that was the worst ever. Like doing this, just swinging the archon around. Anyway, as you can see, we're doing pretty well. Whenever we lose our shield, we just spam an ability, and then we get back to full. And now her passive activated for the archon, so we're dealing even more damage with all the stats effects and the galvanized mod. Let's check her KPM, 348, so 100 KPM roughly, pretty good. As you can see, the Nautilus is helping me group up the enemies. And the cooldown is very short thanks to that mod I showed you guys earlier where it reduces the cooldowns of the ability based on the stat effects of your kills. So basically infinite spam on that. So yeah, we're just killing. It's not too hard to play as long as you keep your shield gate up. Just do challenges, click your 1 in 4 whenever enemies are around you. The acolyte's a little bit tricky. You don't really have like a good way to dispose of it like Kullervo does, which is red crit. So you really have to depend on your weapons for that. Something like Vasto and Karnon red crit build or a Latron Prime would both work. Or even like a frag or heavy attack build with corrosive. Really up to you. But I think the most challenging part of playing Koumei is stuff like Acolyte that has damage resistance. Everything else just dies because of your condition overload. What makes it worse is the Acolyte is invincible to your like crowd control, so you just gotta keep your shield give up. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please do subscribe, it helps a lot.